Hello, one and all, to yet another Monday Night Live podcast. And here we are, delighted to produce another one for you all because there's so much gone by, not just today, but in the week. I'm talking all things from the southern hemisphere of New Zealand to literally what's happening in India and what Jaisha said about Rishabh Pant. We're going to build up the IPL because we're 11 days away from it. We're also going to reflect a little bit on the Ranji Trophy final and Shams Malani, Dhaval Kulkarni's last game. So lots to talk about as usual. My name's Avnish Hegde, and as you can see, Nikhil Popat and Akshay Kumar Swami. Nikhil, first of all, how are you? All well? Did your Saturday, Sunday give you amount of happiness that you normally crave in life?
Yeah, I did a lot of last game finishes. That's what gives me the kicks. So always handy. Not quite sure of the game last night, but we'll have a lot of talk about it later in the show as well. So I think all good. I'm looking forward to the IPL. I think this could potentially be one of the blockbuster seasons that we'll reflect upon in the coming times. So very excited for that.
Yeah, it's palpable. Yeah, 11 days away. We've already kind of built up our content plans, which I generally can't wait to share. The last time I tried doing it in that final review, I lost my internet. If you guys saw that, you guys would know. All the lovely people in the chat. And Akshay, I'll just come to you in a bit. But Vasant Ryan, keep your hearts pouring out, man. Really appreciate you with all your comments. You guys literally are keyboard warriors in every sense. So props to you, Vasant. And Santosh saying, just IPL talks, guys. All tests series are behind us right now. Good on you, Santosh, because you had a pretty memorable weekend, I'm guessing. Liverpool drawing and then Australia winning. So we'll talk about that and much more, but we have to talk about that India-England series as well. And not to forget, the star of the show is not with us in this moment in time, but he's going to be on with us in about 10, 12 minutes, and you guys will know who I'm talking about if you guys saw our previous live content. But first things first, Akshay, happy fucking birthday, man. Thanks for telling all of us. Nikhil didn't know even right now. I had to break it to him. I didn't know Nick's until the meeting when Som told me. So Akshay, he's turned 62 today. So
thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
To you. Happy birthday, Akshay. Honestly, Akshay, you're a legend for not telling us because I'm guessing you didn't like the cake to be smashed on your face, etc., etc. But how was your birthday weekend? Because I saw you the night before and you were not in a good position at that point in time.
No, to be honest, I was in as good a position as you could expect from someone who was going to celebrate his birthday the very next day. And yeah, it was fairly peaceful, fairly subdued, which is how I prefer it. I mean, not big on celebrations and all of that. Thank you so much, guys. Means a lot, though. Thank you so much. Took my family for lunch and just, it's a pretty chill day with my niece. And of course, and my niece right now thinks that my job is basically just to scream, because every day now she just stands in front of the ring light and starts screaming. That's it. Oh wow, man.
Rohan Patil, everyone, and Shlok also joining in the chat saying hi, guys. Joined after hectic Monday, feels good. Apologies to hear that, but don't worry, we'll hear to make it better for you all, liven it up a little bit by talking all things cricket. Nani Kaur as well, good to see you, saying happy birthday, Akshay Kumar. Hope you got to Canada, whatever that meant. But look, essentially, all you legends, please like this video because of Akshay's birthday. Please like this video because it'll be Gurkirat's last video on cricket.com and its history. Hopefully, he can come back for a little cameo later, but only time will tell.
In fact, Gurkirat's last review show was on my birthday. So there you go.
Really? Oh, that's insane. Yeah. That's insane. Well done. Super. So we'll get Gurkirat on in a bit. Nix is already getting carried away with the dance and everything like that. Yesterday, RCB whole
weekend. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Shlok, honestly, I was watching from home. I could feel every bit of emotion out there at the Firozshah Kotla. I mean, you felt for Richa Ghosh, how well she played to get her team into that situation. We'll talk about the WPL and the best of the rest indeed. But our main chat will be a little bit of spillover from the last 2-3 months of Test cricket that we've seen, with Bazball being Bazbollocked in India. And I want to allude straight away to a sensational written piece. And it's just, honestly, something worth reading, guys. I'm not just plugging it for the sake of plugging it in. Just go check this out from Shubh Aggarwal. I should get his name right before he slanders me. Shubh has done a stellar job in pointing out some amazing themes in the series, what stood out for both teams. And if you don't believe me, just check out some of the stats which you guys can find in that particular piece. Now, this is what I was talking about in terms of the key factors. And there were some startling stats which hit me while reading that. So I was like, you know what? Let me just show it to all you lovely MNL viewers. The first one goes on to say India's middle order, which is basically number 3 to number 6, they averaged close to 40 guys compared to England's 27.8, which was honestly the difference in the larger scheme of things. And as you can see over there, every innings, it was probably about 50 runs on average. Then you look at Ashwin, and everyone was writing him off, right? All the haters, you guys know you are essentially questioning the main man, but he came back exceptionally well in those last 3 innings. And not cheap wickets. Don't ever say that about Ashwin, because you look at even the men he got out in the final 3 innings, there are lots of big ones in there. Following which, post his 196, we had to pull out some stats of Ollie Pope, because he managed just 118 runs in his 8 innings, which just goes to show what one knock can do to cover that average of him. And Stokes as well, a miserable time for the England captain with a bat, only 20.9 in the series. In fact, there was another stat in cricket.com, if you guys saw it, I think was he joins Nasser Hussain and Michael Atherton for the worst averages for an England captain in a series. So ridiculous stats going your way. And finally, Bairstow looked promising in every test, but couldn't convert his 30s into a relevant score. And that also had a bearing on the effect of the series, because he had a top score of just 39. This is Johnny Bairstow, who, of course, literally put the dagger into India's hearts at Edgbaston not too long ago. But that's something that we wanted to show you, and that's something that we wanted to just reflect upon very, very quickly. Right, I know we told him to come on at 8:10, but we might pop him on earlier, and it just makes you think about Gurkirat a little bit more. But speaking of Gill, we'll show you some more great stats while we just ask him to take his time and come on in just a bit, because Shubman Gill also had a roller coaster of a series. You see a couple of zeros there, but you see a couple of hundreds there as well. So all of this available on the cricket.com carousel. I don't know what you guys are waiting for. Go check it out indeed. And more things like this about Rohit Sharma and how well he's captained so far in India, for India, beg your pardon, in tests. Out of the 16, he's won 10 of them. And Kuldeep as well has been on the talk of the town. And why not? Because shining with the ball indeed. Look at his performances. It speaks a world of good for him. And finally, like I was reiterating, Stokes and his shocking display with the bat in hand. Right, really quickly, one word to sum up the India-England series.
I'll go first. Expected.
Nikhil?
Exposed.
And I would
Then-
probably choose, emphatic. We've all gone for ease. How about that, right? How about that? Right, enough of my fluff. Let's get the M&L guest on for tonight, and it'll be my absolute pleasure to welcome him for the last time on cricket.com, at least momentarily. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. I'm talking about the darling Gurkirat, who, of course, has no neck in this video. If you could just alter your camera, Paji, come on. For the last sake of God. Yes, we want to see the pink, and we want to see that little red turban as well. How are you? Monday can't seem better with you on screen.
Yeah, it's been a very good day so far, honestly. And I'm very thankful that, you especially came up with this idea and said you wanted me here just as for you guys to thank me. I honestly think, everything said and done, that I feel, even I have also gained a lot in the 18 months that I worked with. I still remember our first conversation, and at first I was like, maybe you're just pulling my leg, but then, everything went through. And I started my journey with CDC at a time where I think it served me as a very good, it served me as an escape, because my uncle had just passed away. I was supposed to join on a particular date, but I joined one week later. And from there on, I remember we started off with fantasy videos, then we started doing other live videos, then we came up with the idea of Deep Point. So it's been a very good journey, and I would have loved to continue if I felt that I could still contribute towards good insights. And I thought those insights started to go missing. They were not as frequent as they should have been, probably because I was not watching enough. And had this been my personal channel, I wouldn't have cared. But I know, I have to match up to the quality that our writers deliver, that the likes of Nikhil, you, Akshay, and Sumesh deliver. So for that, I felt, just should not be pulling the quality down and should be taking a break. I felt maybe this is the right time. I need to, self reflect and take a break. And at this point of time, I'm do hoping that, maybe after a few months, I do come back into this space, because many people were asking me like if I'm going to a different organization or a different channel, but honestly never felt that need, genuinely never felt that need, because really enjoyed, the time that we had on the videos. Even when I've met everyone offline, it's been great working with this team. So yeah, can't
And
complain at all.
honestly, the love from the chat as well is well reflected, because lots of people have appreciated your content. Like you said, deep point. I was just going to ask you, you remember our first ever video that we did together? I think it was an AB de Villiers appreciation piece with his wagon wheel. You remember that?
Yeah, that is something I remember, for which you had me. And then I think after you had talked to with, no, I think the first one was one with Graham Swan. It was just asking him a couple of questions, and then there was the De Villiers one for which Shubh had contacted me. And then when I officially joined you guys, it was a video with you, me, Somesh, and Anirudh. And at that point of time, Anirudh Suresh had hair like MS Dhoni of the past, those long hairs. So
In
yeah,
fact, we called him Sasta Wala Preetam at that point in time, if I stand corrected over
that
here.
name never reached me. That name never reached me. So yeah, it's been some time.
Indeed, it has. I'll get Akshay and Nikhil's thoughts about some of the best memories that they've shared with you on and off the camera. But Paji, it's only fair that we, of course, brighten up your day by playing you a little farewell video. Here's what we mean.
Cricket.com. You're from cricket.com. I mean, Gurkirat. I'm Gurkirat. I mean, yeah. I'm a big fan of him.
Yes, as you can see, his loyal and passionate fans, Gurkirat, or Paji as he's known to us, bids farewell to cricket.com this week.
You want someone to grab that screen and post it on social media and use terms like "Acha ye to panauti hai. This is what brought bad luck." So the intention is very poor and it's very cheap.
Be it his cricketing skills inside the office or outside. Gurkirat has never lacked intent. We've enjoyed him in our watch-alongs for many reasons.
आगे नाम क्या logic है, कैसा है, कुछ नहीं पता.
His humor,
He would have won this black had India lost. मतलब तब समझ आता कि you dressed up for
his reactions. Gurkirat, tum sara अंग्रेजी लोग क्या कर रहे हैं?
मेरे को अंग्रेजी सुनाती है वाह.
His quick wit.
Not really. I mean,
Or him being on mute. And he's on mute as well. All his audios are working.
Sky's done well. Sky's done well in the opportunities that he's got. So stick with that and back your players to do well.
Yeah, 100%. And maybe like you should open the door or ask someone to get to the door, because he was also a person never shying away from giving an opinion.
The odds of Cummings coming on top against Kohli are a lot more. But I'd like to see Kohli play the cut shot, because I feel Rohit's not among the top 30 T20 players in the country. Let's put it that way.
But jokes apart, he's been such a value add, because he's part of so many live shows, it's hard to count.
Seen him play on, almost one leg and still be good enough to do a decent job. So, sorry.
Plus, all those insightful episodes of Deep Point with Gilly Cricket, which is still part of our channel.
But their economy is very high. This is what I meant when I said they have a lot of potential. A lot of their bowlers are young.
Whatever he may do next, Paji, you've served us well. And thank you for that. Hopefully, this is not your last dance with us. I still remember those moves, man. What a video. Honestly, props to Weber, Vikas, the entire team. Brilliant, yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Your first thoughts, Paji, is it made you a touch emotional?
A little bit, but I loved the last video because, you said the last dance with Anirudh also being there, who's also, just moved on. But yeah, I think I would have loved it a lot more had more people from CDC had joined us on that in that wedding in Amritsar, because it was just 2 days of absolute crazy fun. And you were not there, but even the drive from Delhi to Amritsar, which me, Anirudh, and Shubh took, was great. I mean, we played so many songs. Akshay has gone on a drive with me, and we share similar music taste. And as someone who loves to drive and who loves his music, I'm genuinely saying there is like the feeling of being in the car with someone who enjoys the same music as you and vibing it to it. It's something, it's absolutely wonderful and great. So yeah, loved that time. I mean, you know how much we danced that day. I think we were dancing till 3 a.m. And yeah, I could also see one thing that I could really appreciate about myself was that how the face size has become smaller. I was very happy. I was like, oh, okay, so you've made progress. So yeah, like I said, I'd really like to come back when I genuinely feel that I can watch the game, and not just watch the game, but watch the game with an eye that can help me add something to the viewers. I don't want to just do narration. There are a lot of people who do it and do it well. I just really want to add some insight, and hopefully I'll find that amongst myself, maybe if after some months down the line.
Okay. Lots of cheeky comments. Love being shown through. A Shlok saying this. And then there's Bill Mumlo, who always, of course, Mr. Mumlo, good to see you. Paji, one last request before you leave. Please abuse Akshay and Punjabi, indeed. And I'll just throw it to the boys right now because I'm waiting to hear from them. But we said in that video that there were countless lives that that you've done for us. And I've actually pulled out the statistics doing my Monday Night Live research and homework here. Now, 378 live shows. That's a lot of shows. 378 live shows. I'm talking about reviews, previews, the whole shebang. 79 watch-alongs. You graced your presence with us, which is fantastic. There's 33 more episodes of Deep Point, which doesn't add to the live scene, which is amazing. And there's unlimited love that we have for you. So honestly, couldn't sum that up better. Enough of the whole sappy and sad shit right now, because that's turning gay, this podcast. But I really appreciate everyone joining us right now and showing us some love. But jokes apart, Akshay, Nikhil, how special is this man sitting in the red pugly, and how much are you guys going to miss him?
A lot for sure. And unlike most of us in the office, that way I've sort of gotten to, I've had a chance to sort of discuss with him off air, a lot of other things in general about life. I've gotten a chance to know him personally as well. So, which is why sort of, yeah, it's been great knowing him. And of course, it's not that part is, of course, going away. It's not like we'll alvida ke kahin ja raha hai kahin pe. So yeah, always looking forward to sort of having more such conversations about anything under the sun. Both of us that way. I mean, if not things similar, both of us have opinions, and both of us have strong opinions on certain things. So which is why it sort of makes the conversation even more engaging. Always love that about him, because that's something what even I personally look forward to. And it's been great getting to know him off air as well. I first got to know about Gurkirat during the COVID pandemic. That's when I sort of, started following cricket a lot more. Because even for me, cricket had become an escape from life in general back then. And from there, from knowing Gurkirat as a Twitter personality to knowing Gurkirat, the person behind the Twitter profile, behind the person in front of us. So it's been great knowing him for sure.
And when you think about it, Akshay, you've also shared, I think, space with him in 12th Khiladi. I think all three of you all, right? You guys were
Yes.
there as well. So it goes back a long way. Then Paji touched upon that trip that you did as well. And those stories are countless. Next, I'll come to you next. But before I do that, the MNL question tonight also turns out to be a Paji related one. So you guys can let us know in the comments as well. What is your favorite memory of Gurkirat on cricket.com? There was an early shout, Nani Kaur saying Rishi Ponting, Gurkirat, my favorite love story. The Papa Ponting rant, you guys would have heard that. There was another fantastic rant last IPL on Shikhar Dhawan. It's still on our cricket.com shorts and reels. Go check that out and what Paji said about Dhawan and his tactical blunders there. Next, on to you then, because you've also had a lot of time with Paji, with us, of course, but even beyond that, can you just share a story or two with your bond with him?
Yeah, firstly, this is just to pay him a tribute in terms of, there are more ways to look at it. It's not just about what you're saying, it's about what not to say. And I think that is one of my biggest takeaways that I've had with Paji. Uh, in terms of I hadn't done video shows before. It was only when my first probably colleague in terms of cricket video shows was Paji at 12th Khiladi. So I think from that's where it started in terms of finding out what to say, what not to say. I'm someone who has a lot of anxiety, and I can't take people going against me. But Paji does that for a living at times. So that was also a good insight for me in terms of how to deal with it, how to find a way to you have to block some, you have to hit some, and you have to leave some. So I think that is one of the lessons that I've always kept looking for in terms of how is he dealing with this, how is he talking about this, how is he mixing food with cricket and still giving nostalgia, also keeping in mind the current trend. So I think in terms of Paji giving that advice, that is always very handy, because that is something he's doing without knowing, that is inspiring people to speak up, talking about the right things, and still ensuring that he's not crossing the line most of the times. So sometimes it happens with all of us where we say things in flow, but Paji still manages to do it the best. So I think that is great. In terms of number, I genuinely hope, Paji, you have to come at least 2-3 times more, because 378 cannot be the last number. It was a target England chased against India in the fifth test, जब बेस्टो ने दौड़ा दौड़ा के मारा था. तो 378 isn't a good number by any stretch of imagination. तो वो please आप change कर देना. And in terms of rants, you rightly said, every time you see Delhi collapsing, the first person you think of is Paji, or they send Lalit Yadav over Akshar Patel, the first person you think is Paji. So there are some things that will never change, and I'm looking forward to. I don't think this is the last that we'll see of him in terms of with us. So इसके लिए मैं उसको ज़्यादा tribute नहीं बना रहा हूँ, but looking forward to your company again, Paji.
But just one more thing to add. After all these conversations with Gurkirat, I'm not even kidding. Every time I see someone get run out, the first thing I hear in my head is Gurkirat going, इसीलिए run नहीं भागते, इसीलिए ये सब risky singles नहीं लेते. That's all that comes to my mind every time.
Yeah, not to
Actually,
forget. Go on.
About that run out thing, I was just sitting with myself and thinking one day, and it's something which I was not even thinking from a cricketing point of view. That was just my I was solving some business problem and something, and I was like, okay, you want to take a risk, but even if you want to take a risk, you have to think ki, where does the highest reward lie if you're actually taking a risk. And from that is where I came up with that analogy, and that is why I hate runouts, because I keep maintaining this. You might as well take on a negative matchup and try to hit it for a boundary than trying to run an risky single and get run out, because if that comes off, you still get a 4 or a 6. But so many times in a run out, what is the reward? It's just one run. So I'm not against risk, I'm against taking a risk which doesn't have a reward. So that is purely from where I don't like runouts, and I feel that is one thing which most of us anyway apply in life. When we want to take a risk, we look at what is the highest reward possible. We will never take a risk or get out of our comfort zone for something which hardly has any reward. So that is where I came from that.
No, indeed. And who can forget this particular quote, which we also have on our merchandise? T20 is a fickle format. Absolutely spot on, Abbas. Every time random results happen in T20s, Gurkirat was saying that. And there's so many. You guys can let us know. In fact, I just want to showcase one more thing to y'all before we bid adieu to him, because he was kind enough to put a particular tweet out. And you know how solid his fans are. I just want to give you all a little reflection of that with regards to how solid his fans are, because I'll tell you what, this has happened, right? This tweet he put out on the 4th of March. Yes, he's of course thrown in praises for us and the boys. Now, all of us apparently have got 15, 16 followers from this particular tweet that he put out, which just goes to show this number, 134K views. I mean, are we really like, are you Harbhajan in disguise, Gurkirat? Because this is ridiculous, man. Are you amazed by some of the love you get? I know the hate you get, but surely you pick the love more than the hate.
Yeah, I feel being opinionated will always bring brickbats. I think if you're being opinionated and getting more praises than brickbats, you sort of think or know that okay, you are on the right track. And I don't think that it is possible to move forward in life without getting your share of brickbats. They are going to come regardless, because Not everyone's going to align with your with your thinking or your line of thought, and not everyone's also going to be okay with you coming up with something that is not conventional, because that's how thinking works. That's how, a lot of us are molded into that. So the one thing that I keep telling people who are on social media or want to sort of try and make a name on social media is that before you think of making a name on social media, make a thick skin. You have to have a thick skin. And despite having the thickest of skins, there is going to be the odd day where it will get to you, because sometimes you don't even there are sometimes opinions for which you expect brickbats to come, and sometimes you don't even expect them to come, and they come just out of nowhere, because you're like, okay, I read this 5 times, I am reading it again, and I still don't see where this is coming from. So it will happen, but yeah, it's something that is a part of it. And I feel most importantly, since we are in this space of getting followers, content creation, etc., etc., I also feel the most important part in terms of getting followers, or I think most important part cannot be that. It has to be having a sense of honesty attached to your work, because if you will have that sense of honesty attached to your work, people may not like you individually, but they will still respect your work, and they will probably follow you only for that, just to see, okay, I don't like this person, but I think he's going to come up with an opinion that is going to be logical. So if you try to satisfy fans, or fanboys, you will not get anywhere. You will absolutely not get anywhere, because we live in a world where it's very difficult to be a Virat Kohli fan and a Rohit Sharma fan. You have to be either, even if you don't want to be. So I think you will the only way to get following, or the only way to sort of get respect more than love or anything, is just be true to your opinion, be honest to your work, because there are also people who will recognize that. There is going to be a share of people that will not recognize it. You have to ignore them, but you have to look at those who recognize that, okay, you try to be as unbiased as possible, because 100% complete unbiasedness, I'm not sure it's possible for human beings. There is going to be some. So that is something that you can strive for. And yeah, at one point of time, these numbers looked very surreal, when they started hitting me initially, because it was around 2020 IPL that I started to get following. But now it's like, because you've seen both the good and the bad of it, you feel that these bad numbers can also affect you, because it does. You can have the thickest of skins, but no one wants to be abused for an opinion. And the abuse on identity is the worst, because you feel ki this is an easier way out. You abuse my work, you critique my you critique my opinion, that's fine, but you are just abusing me for the sake of my identity, and that does happen. So yeah, it's you have to, like I said, you have to grow a thick skin. The days it gets to you, you have to move past them, and come what may, you have to stay honest to your work, because that is what eventually people will recognize, that is what the industry will recognize. And I think that is what is also rewarded the most by nature in itself. And that's not just for cricket, that's I think across phases and across fields. Have to be honest to your work.
Indeed, pearls
This
of wisdom.
sorry, this almost felt like a Baba Pravachan that we are in terms of Mandalite Pravachan with Gurkirat Paji. And Paji, just so that you know, this is I think the longest any guest has spoken in a minute.
I had to be setting this record straight.
And that's why even in that video, we put it out saying quick quit. And then we said, no, not really. You yourself said that. And honestly, but pearls of wisdom, words of wisdom feels like bloody Moti Mahal in here right now on a Monday Night Live. Right, Paji, some good questions coming your way as well as comments. Oh, beloved Anirudh Kasargod, good to see him as well. And a shout out to Statsman as well. He's been a proper part of this team. One of the biggest unsung heroes that cricket.com is, of course, that has to say bit due to him as well. So he says that, Paji. And then for all you know, there was a Gurkirat Twitter fan page, Nani Kaur and M. Rajesh. I don't know whether this is a compliment or an insult, because he absolutely hates Sunny G. He likes Pale G, but not Sunny G, indeed.
I have great dislike for his commentary, but I have nothing against the person. I've heard a story about how during '93, when situation was bad in Mumbai, he actually protected people. So I have great respect for him. I have great respect for him as a batter, but I can't stand his commentary. It's as simple as it gets.
Okay, another one of those clip it, Melville, and then tag the Vaskar. It'll be good. By the way, yeah, questions. We just want to end this whole Q&A with you, Paji, about a few things about what's next and stuff, because lots of people are plaguing us individually in our Instagram DMs. So please just let everyone know, at least tell them and answer those questions. But couple of predictions really quickly. IPL, you might say, I'm not going to watch the game because I spoke to you recently and you were like, I'm definitely not watching that game. Let's see if you can actually stay away from cricket. But what's going to happen IPL? Because all your fans want to know whether DC are winning it, whether it's RCB according to you. What do you think, IPL 2024?
I think RCB are better placed in terms of how their squad is, as opposed to DC, because I still think that nailing the 11 is going to be a bigger problem for DC as opposed to RCB. DC still don't know who's going to be their first keeper. They've invested a lot in Kumar Kushagra, and I am not sure how much that investment in a youngster is fair, or whether it will reap rewards or whether it will put that youngster under far more pressure. So it's something which is difficult to say. And Nokia has been out of action for some time. You don't know how much has Khalil been playing. The positive is that Kuldeep's really becoming like is really improving, but Akshar's bowling you don't know. And yeah, so Mitchell Marsh has been in good form recently, but you also, another thing is that now the pitch in Delhi is being used for the WPL, and the first two home games are in Vizag. So by the time Delhi have to play their home games in Kotla, you don't know how the pitch will play out. If it again turns out to be a low and slow pitch, may not favor them. So yeah, with Delhi, I'm not having any expectations. I'd like to see how Pant goes whenever I watch the game, and yeah, that's about it. Really, no expectations as a fan or anything.
Okay, so what's your final prediction? If you just had to give us two teams playing in that final on the 26th of May, who's it going to be? A repeat of last year? Surely not.
I do think Chennai have done their best ever homework or work in an auction, like what they did this year. They've never been so proactive, and they've really signed some good players. So I think Chennai do look good. Apart from that, SRH have a overseas score to die for, but that is more or less, given how their management is, I won't be surprised if it ends up, self-combusting it, because you will always be confused who are your four players, four overseas. Who do you want to play? Who you don't want to play? So there is that. Apart from that, who else? See, this is how much I've been so switched off that I can't even recall squads properly. Uh, I think MI also should be okay. Who else? It's
Do you think RR can cause a problem? Maybe Justin Langer with LSG. You feel there's something there?
See, Lucknow have never had a bad auction. Their problem was they could never nail down the batting order. So you'd hope that happens, but Australian players did not have a lot of good things to say about Justin Langer. So you can't really say, if that style will work.
KKR under GG?
KKR under GG, again, if the pitch is anything like what it was during the World Cup in Eden Gardens, then KKR are in a real chance to make it to the last four given their spin attack. And now they've got Phil Salt, who's been in good touch in the SA20 and otherwise. So who knows that they could make it to the last four. But then with Gautam Gambhir, sometimes a lot of things that he does as a tactician, they don't make sense to me. So very difficult to say.
Okay, finally then, boys, time to say goodbye to him. But before that, what's your plan, immediate future, and later on as well? Can you just shed light to the millions? I don't know. I don't have a single idea what this man's going to do. I swear, I say that with all honesty. But Gurkirat, come on, spill the beans.
So right now the plan is to sort of firstly find a window to take a vacation. It's been pending for a long time. Hopefully things sort themselves out in my personal life, and then eventually I want to focus a lot more on the business or on my other professional side of things, which is my daily bread, so as to say. uh, you can hold the puns, others don't need to know. So that is that. And yeah, hopefully, I think, by the time the World T20 comes, I am looking forward to cricket. And yeah, once I came back from Bangalore last year, I realized that I really need to work on my fitness. So that is something that I'm going to be dedicated towards. I still try and take at least 1 hour a day for those fitness sessions. I can see the difference, and I really hope that I do get in even better shape, and that helps me have a better mental health and plan my day better and everything, because that is one thing that I've seen really affect people. I earlier could not relate to people saying, oh, you should hit the gym, you get more extra time. And I used to think, if you're going to spend 1.5 hour in the gym, how are you going to make extra time in the day? But now I can relate to it. So yeah, I'm I don't have big goals right now, and those that are there, I'm not entirely comfortable sharing them. But yeah, so far right now is just trying to take a break, go for a vacation, keep working on your health, and take care of the other profession. And once all of it feels settled, once again.
Okay, Paji, thanks. You've been absolutely brilliant. And Nani asking, will Gurkirat be active during IPL on Twitter? Only
Account
time
will
will
be
tell.
there. Account will be there. Not sure how much I will tweet.
Okay, super. Pachi, thanks again. We've said that multiple times on this podcast, and you've been an absolute champion for us. And wish you well with everything going forward. And of course, I'll stay in touch as I always do.
Yeah, hopefully now you will not, cook up stories about things in my car's boot. So yeah, there's a reprieve from that.
Okay, super, boys. It's been fun having Gurkirat, and we can all just say goodbye to him in a sad,
Cheers,
emotional way.
Paji. See you soon.
Thank you.
Take care, Paji. See you outside the camera for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Super, Gurkirat. Wow. What an addition. And it's honestly testament to the comments as well. Everyone's saying good things, and why not? Because he's been certainly a value add for cricket.com, and hopefully we can see him sometime in the future. Right, guys, that was some guests that we caught on Monday Night Live. Absolutely long chats as usual with Gurkirat. And we can move steadily on to the next segment, which is, of course, the best of the rest. Right, best of the rest is that segment where we talk about everything in the world of cricket in the week which has gone by, including domestic matters, international matters, things off the field, and we'll also reflect the things we've missed, three of us, in the newsletter in just 4 or 5 minutes' time. But where do you want to start? Do you want to start this morning? Because I was interviewing Unwind episode 3, the guest. I won't suggest who, and I won't tell y'all who. And I was doing pretty much a watch along with him, Nix, when I think Australia needed 59 with 3 wickets. Did you catch any of the action in the morning? Any of you guys live?
Not
None.
after the kind of match I had to see yesterday. There's no way on earth.
Nix?
Yeah, I was only following scores. Had things to catch up on before the long season, so couldn't watch. But again, it was when Carey started hitting that I felt that this is gone. Because I think Alex Carey's always been that kind of a person who I feel when you don't expect, that's when he comes out and really just flays you through. And it's also the manner in which it just deflates you. So I think that's probably how they would have felt about it. And Cummins just being there at the end, we discussed this in our one of the meetings today, that he's probably the new Bevan or something like that for Australia in terms of being there, getting it done. And yeah, New Zealand would possibly feel they'll need something to get past that Australia something. It's just something that doesn't work for them whenever they come up against Australia.
You're spot on with the observation about Bevan, because I'd like to credit Anirudh Suresh, who's one of our writers, who's also a big Australian fan, and he was confessing that he fell asleep in some of those moments of the chase. But he also told me a fantastic stat, Akshay. I don't know if you came across it. Now, you look at Australia's Test series wins in South Africa, in England. I mean, they didn't win that series, but they drew the Ashes, but they won that important game, and New Zealand earlier today. All the winning runs have been hit by Pat Cummins. Pat Cummins, 2011 against Tahir in South Africa when they chased on 311. He did it against England, hitting the winning runs earlier in 2023, and then today as well. So like Kevin Mohammad Haran saying, Pat Cummins can do no wrong. It's been an absolute field for Australia. I want to just quickly throw it ahead to you, Akshay. India dominant, number one in terms of the World Test Championship. Australia also, you feel like, are going head into that final. Do you think it's already an India-Australia final in the WTC?
India, Australia, or Australia, New Zealand. That's how I'm looking at this. Like, that's where the Border Gavaskar Trophy in December is going to sort of play a decisive role. If anything, I feel New Zealand will be happier knowing that India and Australia are going to fight each other. Exactly, because one of the two will end up on the losing side. But yeah, India, Australia is definitely a good shout. But I'm seeing any of India, Australia, New Zealand. Like, it'll be between India, Australia, and New Zealand. We just have to see which of the three teams make it.
Yeah, it's interesting you say New Zealand, because when I look at the WTC schedule that they have, of course, they come to India for, I think, 3 tests. Then they, of course, go to Sri Lanka as well. And they finish off their WTC campaign by having England at home later on. And I think the Boxing Day test will be there as well. So New Zealand have to pick up the points, and they can afford to probably lose, I'm guessing, only 1 or 2. And that'll probably be in India as well. Just to finish off this test series and New Zealand-Australia chat, plenty of debuts. We saw, of course, Matt Henry do great things. But that New Zealand bowling attack, Nix, I know it's in transition, and the likes of Bolt now has hung up his boots in tests. Tim Southee, it's inevitable. Wagner just did. So are we seeing a new crop of New Zealand bowlers? And how much do you like your O'Rourkes, your Ben Sears, your Scott Kugelines? Or are they just makeshift bowlers and not here for the long haul?
Yeah, I think it is something that you'll have to sit and watch, because we've seen a similar or a same set of players play a lot of games for New Zealand. So even when you have seen Ben Sears play, you've seen him only probably as a support cast type of person in terms of an option for them. So I think whatever he did, I mean, in this series as well, it was good to see. But then when it's like going from not having Bumrah to then playing without him, and then trying to see if you can do that. So without Southee, without Wagner again, first series officially without him, how do they go ahead and batter in conditions that are not something that they're used to? That's when the entire bowling group will be challenged in terms of what role is being given to what kind of player. So there is Ben Lister as well, who's played white ball games for them. Kugelan again has been here and there has been injury issues as well with Jamieson. So they have a set of players, but I'm very keen to see their usage, because I think New Zealand are one side who at times get their usage very well as compared to other sides. So looking forward to see how Ben Sears and others go. England will travel to New Zealand as well. So that will be one series where we'll know who bats better.
Yeah, speaking of batting, there was a little bit of a stat highlight from the Kane Williamson 51 that he mustered as well. Go check it out in terms of what I mean on the cricket.com platform. Let's just end this chat by taking Raj Krishna's comment. New captain cool in the world of cricket right now. Cummins, 7 letters, THALA for a reason. He's won bloody everything there is to win. He won in Pakistan, Akshay. He won in New Zealand. He won the World Cup in India. Why SRH title loading?
I mean,
we already have a clip. Yeah, we already had a clip from SRH fan in that sense.
Exactly. खुद ही बोला था ना कि Adam Gilchrist, David Warner, so it's time for Pat Cummins. But yeah, let's see, because it's also Dan Vittori coaching them, so let's see how he goes about his business.
अच्छा, मुझे लगा है बोल रहा है कि it's proper balance out हो रहा है कि Cummins है.
हाँ, वही उसी दिशा में जा रहा था, बस मैं explicitly वो बोलने का avoid कर.
No, indeed. And then Santosh Singh Cummins and hitting runs with offside 4 is a match made in heaven. And Akshay and watch-alongs are a match made in heaven, because his random reactions will get the best out of you. We're not doing a watch-along today. Who's dropped?
Beth Mooney. They've dropped Beth Mooney, yaar.
Oh my word. Oh my word.
इतना तो होता ही है.
By the way, Mohammad Arhan, good question. We'll take this in the 12th man segment, 100% about Kane's form. And AJ Ragnarok saying someone tweeted that number 1 ranked team should get some incentive like selection of venue. Final England is good, but not too much. Yeah, I don't like the fact that even the WTC final, the 3rd edition will be in England. Apparently, it's confirmed. And you're loving my hairstyle. Yep, thank you so much, Sohangi. Really appreciate that. And more things to talk about then before we showcase that newsletter. And like Santosh said at the top of the show, where was that comment? Just IPL talks, guys. All test series are behind us right now. We will talk about the Ranji final, but with all due respect, a lot of people waiting for that IPL chat and the Monday Night Live. So let's have it. Did you guys see that Chennai Super Kings video of Dhoni just walking in like a baller. That was the one video which caught my eye. The second video was a similar MS Dhoni, Chennai Dhoni video, but with people and how they reacted seeing Dhoni in the streets of Chennai. Honestly, I can't wait to do fan cams over there. But watching that video, Nikhil, I know you're a CSK fan. It just gives you that automatic impression that tell me it's the summer without telling me it's the summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it is. See, there are few people who can invoke emotions of such strong emotions from people who they are never going to meet or even have a iota of relatability in terms of we relate to each other in terms of common interests and all of that. So, but again, that's what sport does to people. See, there are two ways to it. One way is I'm always enjoying this could potentially be the last. This could potentially be the last. But there is also that thought that makes me very excited that what after this? How is MS going to be part of the setup with Flem in terms of how do the Knicks go on and even try and hold on to some of this? See, this is not going to always stay. Whether it is say Gaikwad or anybody else who's the captain, they're not going to get the same kind of mad cheer that he painted Bombay, Kolkata, every venue was yellow in the previous editions. That not many people can do that. So I think, see, in terms of game, it doesn't affect much. That okay, it's different, completely different personality. But then when that one person is dictating everything that you do, whether it is people playing strategy, tactics, bhai, matlab, you say the single most reason why I've learned so much about the game is watching MS and not or both. So I think in terms of CSK, it's always a lesson. And I know Fleming has said that they've always had a succession plan ready, but now could be the time to see if it's actually of any use going forward.
According to Amvati Raidu, who's played for CSK, he's saying that Rohit could be the successor of MSD, and even Mehul saying over that same thing. I mean, we can speak about Chennai Super Kings in that SWOT analysis where Noodle has, sorry for not taking this comment earlier, but we are going to be doing one hell of a mega preview. We've just confirmed it. So let me just announce the dates right now. March 18th, which is next week exactly, will be the Monday Night Live. We'll get an amazing guest on for that. We'll do funky things and just a real fun preview of the IPL. 19th will be the mega preview part 1. That's where we'll see teams like CSK, I think there's DC, and I think there's GT as well. GT. Then on the 20th, there'll be 3 more teams, KKR, MI, and LSG. And then on the third preview, which falls on the 21st of March, that will be 4 teams, which is Punjab, RR, RCB, and SRE. So pretty much in alphabetical order. And we're separating the big guns. So we don't want you all to miss anything. We'll, of course, talk about where they can win, where they can lose, probable 11s. We'll take some of the fan questions as well, and things to watch out for every team. So absolute, what's the best word? A 101 of IPL 2024. Akshay will be there, Nix will be there, I'll be there, and Somesh will be the special guest joining us from Europe, which will be fun to, of course, poke him with a few questions. So join us for that 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. All shows on those days at 8 p.m. Monday Night Live is obviously 8 p.m. and the other ones will be at 8 p.m. as well. So hopefully we've answered that there. MI, what's happening there, Akshay? Because a lot of talk about injuries. They don't know their starting 11. What's the fitness with Sky? Is Kishan going to be playing that first game in GT? And that GT versus MI game is throwing some fascinating subplots. Sunday night, it's of course going to be the Hardik Pandya derby. What else are you looking forward to? Not just MI, but generally how this whole thing plays out, the Mumbai Indians saga.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in terms of team combination and also in terms of how the backroom staff goes about trying to massage everyone's egos, because make no mistake, all of them, to put it bluntly, are alpha males. There's Rohit Sharma, there's Hardik Pandya, supposedly Jasprit Bumrah was eyeing the captaincy role there. There's just too many big names, and now they've got to ensure everyone's being taken care of, because it's not often, it's almost unheard of when it comes to cricket to see such a big change happen. We've seen this in football. We've seen the likes of Ronaldo, Messi, make swaps, make switches and stuff like that. But we've hardly seen anything like this in cricket before. So, which is why and if anything, like I've also mentioned before, this could probably set precedent to, things going forward. now that we've already seen someone like a Hardik Pandya, title-winning skipper for his side, go back to Mumbai Indians. Get ready. I feel this will now sort of, I wouldn't say become a trend or something. We'll see a lot more of this going forward. So yeah, and that's a good sign. That's always a good sign. That's a sign of a league evolving, because it's important for leagues to be open to trades and swaps and all of that. Like Somesh and I have always mentioned, a good league is that allows for trades to happen, where teams are more smarter than assuming कि boss अगर trade करूंगा तो उनको अच्छा player मिल जाएगा तो उनकी team strong हो जाएगी. You cannot have that negative mindset. You cannot sort of think of it in such a zero-sum way. So I'm looking forward to a lot of things in general. This Mumbai Indians saga is sort of going to become sort of the origin story. I'll just put it that way. It's the origin story for something bigger that's going to happen over the long period.
No, indeed. It just makes you think about that opening weekend much more. CSK, RCB to get the whole shebang, and then GTM to end it. But in between, you have the battle of the Aussies with Stark against Cummins and that KKR SRH game. So there's so much, and we'll be doing watch alongs for, I think, most of the games indeed. And Ramana, we are going to be doing potential 11s, because catch cricket.com not giving you all potential 11s. We always do that, and we have plenty of fun doing that. And GTs will definitely be a compelling one, if I may add. Is ABD coming to RCB as a mentor? Apparently, that's a rumor. Now, this is something that I even asked a certain RCB player who I stumbled upon in a certain urinal on a Friday night bender, and he said, look, the camp is starting soon. All of these people who've been calling, I think I spoke to another SRH player, the LSG coach to be, all of them are saying the camps are starting soon, Akshay. So can we get some confirmation?
Start doing these, sorry to cut Avnish there, but we should start doing these sessions where Avnish will just randomly name drop. I met an RCB player in the urinal. I've spoken to an SRH player. I've spoken to a certain IPL coach who wants to stay low-key, mate.
Yeah.
Avnish and his drops are just random. And
See, to be fair, the urinal was just a coincidence. It's not like I'm bloody going to a urinal to go meet an RCB
waiting
player.
for RCB players. Avnish is just roaming around from one urinal to another, hoping an RCB player makes his way there.
And it's just normal behavior when you're in a urinal. It's not like you're always looking down and looking around, and then you're like, oh, 1 second, I know this guy. And then we, of course, washed hands, and then we chatted and exchanged numbers outside. And hopefully there's an interview loading as well in time to come. Which urinal is a good place to get autographs? It was a certain bar at Church Street. I'll just put it that way. If you guys can do the math, you can do the math. Any other news from any other teams? Because LSG, we saw Mishibai giving some sort of thing, right? Actually, you told me about that, where he was giving some sort of talk. RR, I think, ahead of other teams. They've already announced their tickets and their jersey, the new jersey, I think, as well.
Yeah. Yep. And also, there's been a replacement for KKR. Jason Roy has once again decided to back out of the IPL. It's absolutely bizarre. Season after season, we see him play the PSN and then back out of the IPL. It happened in 2020, then in 2022, and now once again in 2024. The only silver lining for the sides being that 2020 or 2022, the sides he backed out of ended up reaching the finals. So KKR fans and the management will be hoping that good luck charm sort of helps them there as well. And they won't be complaining. In Phil Salt, they've got a more than able replacement. If anything, it's an upgrade. So they should be happy there.
Next, what about the Punjab Kings team? Anything from their end? Shikhar Dhawan, we know, is their captain, right? That's like a lock-in, I'm guessing.
Yeah, sorry, I can't catch up on things because UP also are not wanting to catch anything. They've considered about 36 runs in the last 33. Yeah, something odd runs. Suddenly, so all that, my big tip for today was Deepti Sharma. She would have ended up with 3 wickets, but again, UP wanted to have a better challenge. But yeah, that's okay. 153 to win. For Punjab, I think they've changed the jersey again. This time they've taken inspiration from Delhi, so it looks like a Delhi jersey. Someday, again, I'm assuming I saw that one photo, which I feel looks like a jersey for Punjab, but then you can't put it past them. They'll change logos, t-shirts, people, but not strategies and games. So, ठीक है, सबका अपना है. In terms of people, I haven't heard of anything in terms of concrete if there is a official news about captain or something.
one major update from the Punjab Kings side is the change of home venues. It won't be the PCA
हाँ,
Stadium
that's, yeah.
in Mohali. It's now the Mullanpur Stadium in
Mullanpur.
Chandigarh, which
Yeah.
supposedly, I mean, the facility looks pretty good, and it's also going to be very batter friendly. So expect it to be yet another Wankhede / Chinnaswamy type surface. So that's what at least people privy to, you know, what's happening there have to say. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that surface plays.
Interesting you mentioned the venue there, because even I stumbled upon it in the afternoon, Akshay, and it's apparently an upgrade in terms of the capacity, in terms of the
Yeah.
Mohali, 27,000 compared to the Mullanpur one, which has 33,000. And what's more is that it actually has one of those cool drainage systems. So in case there's crazy rain or those erratic April showers that we see sometimes, that will be, of course, reducing the time and damage control. So look, Punjab are no strangers to switching venues. We've seen them play in Dharamshala. We've seen them play, I think, even in Indore. I remember that ABD one-handed six of Mohammad Shami. I think that was a Punjab game. So Punjab have, of course, switched venues. And Gurkirat mentioned it earlier. Delhi will be switching their venue as well for Vizag for the first couple of games. And Santosh, stop scaring me, because you said earlier that Bangalore might change its venue because of some water crisis. That's not going to happen. And these guys don't know the power of money. So
And-
absolutely spot on.
Again, I'm not sure how official or something, but there was also a mentioning of how KSCA has a dedicated plant. So the water drainage system and all of that, like they have a separate water treatment facility. So which is why, unlike what we'd seen in Chennai and Mumbai, you know, in 2018, 2019, unlike that, this won't impact the water crisis. At least that's what those sources had to say. And these are legit sources. We're talking about proper, credible journalists here. That's what they had to say. So given that, we still have to wait and watch how the government goes about this, because at the end of the day, even I completely agree. If it is a crisis, then you cannot possibly think of hosting games. IPL cannot come over humanity, over basic needs. That's for sure.
Okay, interesting, guys. Lots more IPL chat coming through the comments. Mohammad Jawaz Hussain saying Sunrisers change in jersey as
Yeah.
well, same as Eastern
Arguably
Cape.
the worst jersey in IPL. Like LSG को, अरे क्या बोल रहे हो यार, डिजाइन मेरे को बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लगा क्या.
And
Logo
this
in
is
there.
where one
First
second. This is where you guys will have to be fashion police next MNL, because we're going to be ranking jerseys like how we did for the World Cup. And that's when the banter can stay on. And Nikhil, I can fully agree with you here. I know where you're coming from for sure.
My
Just
only
go on.
point is just I'll just say, ना red ना blue. पहली बार कोई नया कलर देखा है गरीब इंसान तो खुश तो होगा ना यार.
अरे कलर अच्छा, कलर पहले भी अच्छा था ना यार. वो डिजाइन क्या आपको लोगो ही नहीं दिखता? इनको कोई कलर
लोगो क्यों देखना है?
अरे
लोगो क्यों देखना है?
नहीं यार, क्या बोल रहा हूँ, बिल्कुल.
He is talking like a brand guy. ठीक है, जाने दो.
He's talking
I mean,
like a क्या क्या?
Brand.
I've been interacting with the brand team for the last couple of months, so of course.
Exactly.
And Greg agrees with Nick's over there as well. But look, you're entitled to your opinion, boys and girls. We'll be doing a fun IPL preview in the next Monday Night Live, and we'll be talking about different things of this. And of course, orange cap predictions, our purple cap predictions, all of that fun shit will be in the next MNL with a special guest. So lock in your time for us next week as well. Before I close up this IPL chat, I also stumbled upon another very interesting thing for all you lovers about tickets and thinking about IPL tickets this time around. And I wish I could showcase it to you all, but I'll try to remember from my mental game what they were saying. So basically, I came across a sheet, guys, in terms of lowest ticket price compared to the highest ticket price, and for each team. So 10 menus and how each franchise is doing it. Now, to give you a ballpark figure, the Wankhede, the cheapest ticket there is 500. The highest ticket is 9,500. For Bangalore, the cheapest ticket is 2,100, and the expensive ticket is 30,000 INR. I think the other stadiums, you look at your Jaipur's relatively lower. Chennai is not too bad as well. But Akshay, would you ever spend 30,000 for an RCB game?
30,000? No, पागल हो क्या? मतलब माना पागल RCB fan हूँ मैं.
But you're an RCB fan who loves RCB more than India. So essentially, if it's an RCB IPL final, 30,000 ticket, would you take it?
I'll put it this way. इंडिया के लिए मेरा लिमिट है 1,500. इसके ऊपर तो मैं नहीं जा रहा है. IPL के लिए मेरा लिमिट है 2 से 3. खत्म. So लिमिट बड़ा है, ज्यादा इंडिया मैचेस से ज्यादा है, बट खत्म. उससे ज्यादा तो मैं नहीं जा रहा.
It reminds me of a good old friend and video editor Vaibhav who said, look, if you're spending that much for a ticket, at least make sure the bloody game is not a one-sided contest. Because like he spent so much for his Coldplay ticket, he knew it's not a one-sided contest, right? It's not like bloody Chris Martin's going to disappoint randomly. So that's Pesa Vasool. But look, many people are willing to sell their bloody arm and leg. We saw it in Ahmedabad itself with the ODI World Cup and how crazy people are going. So let's see how it goes. And I wish any of us can go for the games, but we'll be doing the watch along. Maybe if I do a fan cam, I'll try going for the game, but we'll keep you posted on that. Right, IPL chat is done and dusted. But before we get to the newsletter, a little bit on the Ranji Trophy final, guys. What do we know? We know that Mumbai are well in front at this point of time. And do you see what? This is their 70,000th Ranji title. What is it?
42nd. If I'm not
42nd.
wrong. So, and well placed, thanks to some really, really good performances. Shardul Thakur, I mean, incredible, right? It's making it a habit, but it is good. I think we discussed this in the meeting earlier that this could potentially be a very good time for him to come good as an all-rounder because you for sure know Hardik is unlikely to play the longer format of the game. If Shardul can get consistent in terms of providing wickets, and those runs are very, very valuable. When your team is down and out to do it, once is you'll say okay, ho gaya. Two, he's not, and it's not that he's chancing his arm. That's how you would not want to discredit it. So I think it's great to see that. And again, he's coming good with the ball as well. And there's also Shams Milani, who we've all been speaking about. Hopefully, he'll start to be part of the setup. India, that transition should happen. And Rahane had a good game today. He had one close umpire's call, though I genuinely felt Umesh Yadav almost he had it, but it was given umpire's call. And from there on, he took time with Mushir and they just settled the ship there in terms of a good stand.
Yeah, indeed. I like the whole guard of honor for Dhaval Kulkarni as well. His last first-class game. I saw that on socials. And you mentioned a man there, Nick, Shams Milani. In fact, I'll take this opportunity yet again to shamelessly plug in our writer's article. In this case, it's Bastab, and he's, of course, written about Shams Milani. I think he knows him pretty well as well, so go check it out. Lots of insight. And as you can see in that top line, in the last 4 seasons, Milani's taken 144 wickets at an average of 20.5 by a distance, the highest for any bowler in Indian domestic cricket. So, look, lots of lovely things on cricket.com like this and various features. Trust me, you guys would not be disappointed. So, good luck to Vidarbha if they can stage a comeback, or Mumbai and their 42nd title, like Nick said. It's only fair for us to finish off the best of the rest with the newsletter, but Akshay has been doing all the WPL watch-alongs, so it's also fair to ask him what is his predictions right now heading into the business end of the tournament. And for the uninitiated, can you explain the qualification scenarios as we speak, Monday, March 11th, 9:05 p.m.
9-5. Yeah, it's 9-5. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic tournament. Definitely sort of continued from where they left it off last season. Mumbai, Delhi continuing to be the teams to beat. But UP Warriors, Royal Challengers Bangalore and Gujarat Giants have been a lot more competitive. Gujarat Giants ko bhi main dalunga at least because of the Delhi leg and how they've performed. Bangalore mein to they just look woefully out of form. But they've, thanks to Beth Mooney in particular, a hat-trick of 50s, she's been solid. So has been Laura Wolfart. And given that, they've sort of seen some sort of resurgence, but I don't think that'll be good enough for them to make it to the playoffs. So they are all but out of the playoffs as far as, this season is concerned. Delhi and Mumbai have already qualified. So RCB and UP Warriors are fighting for this third spot there. UP Warriors are playing their final game so far right now. As things stand, UP Warriors have bowled first. They lost the toss and were asked to bowl first. And they conceded 152. And yeah, man, it was a very, very, very lackadaisical fielding effort. There are just too many drop catches. And this is coming from someone who has seen his fair share of drop catches and misfielding and all of that. But that's the case with UP Warriors. They have to win the game in order to stay in contention for the playoff spot. But again, they will their hopes will still be sort of contingent on RCB losing the game. So for UP Warriors to qualify, they have to win tonight, and RCB have to lose tomorrow. Sorry. Yeah. If they lose today, then they'll have to ensure that their net run rate does not take a huge beating, which is already in the negative, given that RCB already have a superior net run rate. Should UP Warriors lose tonight, they'll have to hope that RCB lose by a bigger margin, by a
Badly.
significantly higher margin, because point abhi minus 0.365 hai, it'll potentially go to minus 0.4 agar haarte hain aaj. So RCB from plus 0.027 have to go below that. So yeah, so that's sort of not exactly likely, but even then, so that's the only way UP Warriors can make it. As far as RCB is concerned, on the other hand, should UP Warriors lose tonight, they have to ensure that they don't lose by that bigger margin and they'll be through. Should UP Warriors win tonight, then RCB winning alone should be good enough, given the significant net run rate difference between the two sides. If UP Warriors doesn't chase this in 13 overs, RCB just need a win against MI. They can also lose. Like I said, Adish, UP Warriors can lose tonight and RCB can also lose tomorrow and still qualify just by virtue of having a superior net run rate. So we'll have to see how does UP Warriors play, how do they fare tonight, and then basis that we can sort of be a bit more clear on what RCB needs to do tomorrow. As far as conspiracy theories are concerned, Vasant bhai, kitna bologe yaar? Haan, pata hai, mere conspiracy theories the. Yeah.
And indeed,
Obviously,
I'll be there. I'll be there for the watch-alongs. We're trying to make that eliminator, and not just that, but the final as well, a 4-panel watch-along, so you'll get all of us.
I love
on
the fact that
Friday
Avnish
night.
thinks the final will be an RCB watch-along. Just love the optimism there. I love it.
In fact, my next question was to Nix. Nix, is it just a pointless time debating who's going to finish third when we know it's going to be yet another DCMI final? And do you think it'll again be that way, but it could be a change in the final twist? Delhi winning it this time instead of Mumbai?
Yeah, it could be, as Healy just skied this up and she's out in the very first over. That's a good start for the captain leading from the front in the other way. But the potential is there because we've seen Mumbai lose, and that's not a rare. It's not a something that you feel that okay, how are Mumbai losing? They have too many people, but Delhi have also shown that there are areas where you can catch them off guard, and so have Mumbai. So even if they both play, I think this season is still a far more open one in terms of on that very given day. I wouldn't put it past RCB also if they go third, or UP if they go third, that you'll need one person to really just set it up and then the other to close it. Far too often for RCB and UP, one person has set it up for them, but the other person just hasn't closed it out completely. Like even today, they were around 120 odd, and you felt they would meander along to 130s and 140s. And then they have a couple of drop catches, and Mooney goes on to add 21 in the last over, hitting 5 boundaries. Now that is something that you can't afford, and it's a controllable that you could have done better. So I'm hoping it isn't a one-sided game. Should not be like the easy one full tosses in the last season. So hopefully उससे तो better ही देखने मिलेगा. So yeah, let's see.
And yeah, just one more thing to add. Fortunately or unfortunately, the Delhi leg has been very, very, very biased that way. It's been a win the toss, win the game sort of situation. Something that I'm not really a fan of.
I don't agree, but ठीक है.
क्या बोल रहे हो? 6 games में 5 बार team batting first. ऊपर से वो एक बार भी जो हारा was Harman doing Harman things. Thanks to that reprieve and all of that.
Teams could have won also. That is not every game was close. So I think that is how I take it. Okay, that side batting first also could have lost. The side chasing should have won twice at least more in terms
But
of the
I
RCB
feel-
game yesterday and also the Delhi game. So if you put that across, see, I think conditions, they are a very long battle. So मेरे को तो मजा आता है any which ways low scores, तो ठीक है.
मेरे को भी, I mean, thrillers मेरे को मजा आता है, but unfortunately ड्यू नहीं रहा, and the surface has progressively just deteriorated. The second innings में bat करना has been very, very, very difficult. So the fact that teams have been able to do well in the second innings is only more a reflection of their batting abilities. Like Richa Ghosh had to play out of her skins. Harmanpreet Kaur had to play out of her skins to make a match out of it. And Delhi Capitals decided to make a meal out of that game to make a match out of that low-scoring thriller. But I would still say that's the only thing that's disappointed me when it comes to the Delhi, like apart from the crowds and all. I hope for like, especially Bangalore, जिस तरीके से start किया था, मतलब मजा आ जाता है if the same sort of vibe was there. But ठीक है, जो भी है, yeah.
Yeah, and just to add, I think we discussed in the game today about Moody getting out to in-swingers. I think she got 1 out, 2, and then you have Chamari Attapattu out as well. Shabnam Shakil with 2 wickets in the very first over.
I was actually going to say that more than them getting out, it's Shabnam Shakil. Yeah, it's these new names that you want to see light up the stage. Ball, shabash, yaar. Very well done. Very well done.
I can just get a sense of excitement from office. Beloved Manish and Vikas going absolutely mad in terms of dance moves, and I think they're already thinking RCB bloody in the final. But 2 wickets, like Nick said, and Abbas is pointing out over there. Indeed. Right, time for that newsletter to be, of course, showcased to y'all right now to wrap up the best of the rest before we get into Akshay's quiz. And he has a belter. It's not connect the following. It's more than that. So just hold on to that. But just watch this next bit of information, which will be popping on your screens right now. I'm talking about, 1 second. Let me just get this out of here. And it is, of course, the 11th of March and the cricket.com weekly newsletter. So today it features, of course, the whole things we've already spoken about. India in Dharamshala and how they were stoked after their 4-1. Richa's absolute heartbreak and carrying his team indeed. What else? Well, you can read it all here on cricket.com's newsletter. We spoke about the Test Cricket Incentive Scheme with Gurkirat and Nicks in that last review show as well. Go check that out. Rasmus retired. What an umpire he is. Doing so many games. And as you can see, 82 tests for the big man. So well done over there. And more things that we've already touched upon indeed. World Test Championship points. All of this is available on cricket.com and you should guys go check it out. What's more is like Twitter clips as well, which I won't play right now because we'll get slander for copyright. But more names and more news to, of course, look at and love in this newsletter. And not to forget the video of the week, Akshay losing his shit in yesterday's watch along. It was already 3.1k views when I saw it last. So please go check out the last over and you can see all the reactions in flesh. It's absolutely brilliant indeed. And so many more interviews as well, where you can see over here, Jemmy, we've interviewed Monty Desai, and we've interviewed everyone else. There's another wicket, apparently, with the excitement going about. So, cock a hoop right now, RCB fans. But yeah, that is the newsletter. And if you guys do like this kind of stuff, please like this video and do spread the word about cricket.com, because at the end of the day, we have literally grown stronger as a community, not just on the MNL, but even in terms of our app downloads, social media following. Cricket.com is a new one-stop destination for all things cricket. Right. It's time for that quiz, Akshay. Let's roll out the sting first, though. Right, it's actually one of those crazy parts of the show where it gets lots of people commenting, and rightly so as well. Akshay, take over.
Yep. I mean, last week, let's start with what we had in terms of, the MNL Howzzat, that is the question. So there you go. In case, let's just show that here. Yeah, there we go. Kings 11 Punjab, Kolkata Knight Riders, Pune Warriors India. Sorry, I don't know why I say Sahara, and Royal Challengers Bangalore. Of course, these were the 4 sides that this particular player had played for. For some reason, all of you, in fact, had to say Aaron Finch. I'm not sure why did you think Aaron Finch has played only for 4 franchisees. It's Murali Karthik, guys, the guy who's been busy, I wouldn't say burning our ears, but practically in our ears all the time in the comms right now. But it's Murali Karthik. That was the right answer there. And yeah, unfortunately, not Aaron Finch. So no winners there. And coming to this week's Howzzat, though, there we go. Since there were quite a few of you saying, "Yaar, same pattern kab change karo?" I mean, kab change karoge? Thoda badal ke do. There you go. So it's a list of IPL players. It's an exhaustive list of IPL players, if I may say so. There you go. Aaron Finch, Adam Gilchrist. There's then a gap. There's then Brendan McCullum, Evan Lewis, and then a blank. Then Kumar Sangakkara, Mark Boucher, blank. Mohammad Shami, Sana Jayasuriya, blank. And Shrikant Wagh. That's sort of I don't know if I can say it's an Easter egg or a red herring, because that's the one name that probably would throw people off the radar, like Avnish there. But yeah, there you go. So the question for you is connect the following, and yeah, you stand to win a cool 500 rupee Amazon voucher. In fact, bonus, I'll make sure you get another voucher if you're able to also fill in the 4 blanks that have been left there. So that's the list. So I'm very, very, very curious to see who is able to answer this. Avnish, what do you have to say to that?
No fucking idea. Who is Shrikant Wagh? That guy who played for the Pune Warriors team. That's all I know. I don't know what he used to do, but I remember a guy called Wagh.
He was a pacer.
He was a
left-arm pacer. Yeah.
The only thing which threw me off when you look at that Howzzat this week, it's pretty much Shami and Jayasuriya. I was just like, what the hell is happening there? But look, a good one for us to rack our brains over it. And I'm pretty sure it won't be as straightforward as the previous ones. There are already some comments over here. Connect with what Singh Abbas. So please Explain it once
Connect
again.
the funda. What connects the list of players? So these are the list of players. Again, the order is alphabetic. So do not sort of focus on the order. The order is alphabetic. So you need to say what connects these players with respect to IPL, of course. So there's Aaron Finch, Adam Gilchrist, Brendan McCullum, Evan Lewis Kumar, Sangakkara, Mark Boucher, Mohammad Shami, Sana, Jayasuriya, and Shrikant Wagh. There are also 4 blanks in between. So connect the funda between, like, what connects all these players. That's one. That's question number 1. So if you're able to connect the funda, then you get, of course, you get a 500 rupee voucher. Plus, if you're able to also fill in the blanks, you get another 500 rupee voucher. So there you go. That's a question. And guys, please wait for the live stream to end. Do not put in your answers in the live chat. You're only going to help your fellow viewers. Wait for the live stream to end and sort of keen your answers in the main comment section once the live stream is done and dusted. So yeah.
Okay, and Greg asking that little FAQ over there. What do you have to say to that?
You really think I'll answer like yeah, of course.
Oh my word. Okay. Announce the winner in the next MNL. So be there for that, because like I keep saying, it's an IPL preview MNL indeed. Right, time to finish off with you guys who've been absolutely stellar, giving us a lot of support throughout the show. It's 33rd episode on MNL. Absolutely brilliant. So let's end it with the 12th man segment. Right, throughout the MNL, as usual, you guys send us some good questions, and we might have not taken it, so we'll take it right now. First one comes from Shubham Gupta. Nikhil, can Shardul make a case for a spot in the T20 World Cup squad if he does good in the IPL? Yay or nay?
Yeah, but probably as a reserve, backup to Hardik.
Okay, and what about the test scheme of things, or is that a closed chapter?
Yes, so I think he definitely be there in the setup, because again in Australia, different battle in terms of more pace bowling all rounders than spinners. So that selection could be very interesting actually, with Kuldeep doing so well.
Okay, Kuldeep is a name that you mentioned there. Vihit Karma saying, why would anyone retire from IPL if they're getting paid 180 crores for a season unofficially? Can you make sense of that question, Akshay? Or can you make sense of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli morphed into his YouTube picture?
I actually didn't observe that. Thanks for pointing that out. But yeah, I do. I have a vague idea of who he's referring to, but yeah, we can sort of avoid that and move on.
Okay. Mohammad Arhan saying, is Kane's form a concern now? I know the South Africa series was good, but was that was a South Africa B squad he mentioned. So what do you have to say to that?
I mean, I haven't followed the series entirely, so it wouldn't be right on my part to comment. So I'll let Nikhil Bhai, I'll just leave this outside off stump and let Nikhil Bhai face it from the other end.
He says as if I watched every single game, that I know exactly how we felt about it. But see, again, there are some filters that just happen in terms of he has a decent record against most sides. And again, when you play some people too often, you kind of will get better with terms of in time. But when you only play 2 test series randomly, it's a 4 saal mein, this is what first for Australia to New Zealand in what, so many years. So some things are just not going to work out how you want to. So he did have a decent time when he faced South Africa. Now kisko face kiya wo uska fault nahi. He was able to score runs, and he had a handy 50 against Australia also. So maybe it's just some things just not falling in his way in terms of option. Baki to let's see, we can keep an eye whether there are something that's just straight hitting the eye कि भाई ये गलती है, नहीं मार रहा है बड़े लोग को.
Let's see how that Kane story really meanders, because like we said at the earlier part, New Zealand do still have some tricky fixtures in the WTC schedule at least. Vasant had this to say. It was an observation, Akshay, and he kept throwing it through in the comments. Now he went on to say RCB has to get Subhash Satish, let her open. Mandana has to work versus off spin, or let Perry open. Tricastle at 3, Divine at 4, Ghosh at 5, so on versus MI. Now, in a critical game like that, will you stick or will you twist, as bizarre as it sounds?
Wait, if you want to bring in Shubha Satish and also play Disha Kasat, so who's going out for Shubha Satish to come in? किसको छोड़ रहे हो भाई? क्या श्रेयांका पाटिल को ड्रॉप करना है क्या 11 से? या तो Disha Kasat के बदले लाओ, which would probably make sense. But even then, The point being, Sophie Molineux and Smriti opening together didn't make sense because it allowed the opposition to bring in an off spinner. Had Sophie Devine opened, they would have been a bit more circumspect. I'm not saying McLaren wouldn't have brought in Alice Capsey then, but they would have been a lot more wary because last time we Delhi ne jab Minu Mani ko ball di thi, to Sophie Devine was smart enough to score a couple of sixes. Smriti was also comfortable playing against her. So you need to understand, which is why it's important. That's where the left hand, right hand matters. When you know what your negative matchups are, that's where they can complement each other. Shubha Satish is another left-hander, so I'm not sure if Shubha Satish will be able to solve those problems. So, if anything, it would make it easier for the opposition to bring in a spinner. So, kal ko Shubha khelegi, then Herman will 100% toss the ball to Hayley Matthews and say, ki boss, tum ek end se 3 over dalo. Dekhte hain, jo hoga dekha jayega. So, I'm not sure of that. If anything, I'll go back to Sophie Devine. And to be honest, personally, not the biggest fan of Disha Kasat. I know I've said this before. Maybe she's improved on her batting. Fingers crossed she is able to prove me wrong. But I would have actually picked Indrani Roy over her. She's in the Poonam Khemnar mold, so to say, a lot more aggressive. She has a lot more of an attacking instinct in her. So I would rather have her at number 6, number 7, after Richa and Shriyanka and all of that. Baki to sab waise ka waisa hi rahega. So basically, it's Sophie, Smriti to open, 1 down, Elise 2 down, Richa 3 down, Wardham 4 down would be Indrani Roy, 5 down Shriyanka, 6 down Sophie Molineux, and so on and so forth. That's how I'd go.
Okay, good appreciation coming in from Chandra24 saying Akshaba and Nick's by are you following the WPL match? Would have been good watch along. They are. And of course, it's a rule every Monday. We won't be doing watch alongs because the Monday Night Live is so much to talk about and we get your questions as well. It's not like the watch alongs we don't, but it's just a reserved space on Monday, every start of the week. Subhash Chandra Bharta has another good question. What about Steve Smith? Should he retire now? I know you're going to say that based on his stats as an opener and tests in 8 innings, 171 runs, I read somewhere, averaging under 30. Those are not Steve Smith-esque numbers. Next, obviously they'll give him time. And do you think it'll be a case maybe in 1 or 2 years where he'll drop back to the middle order? Or do you think now he'll still be an opener no matter what?
So I had a very strong opinion when he had announced that he'll be the opener, because I felt you're losing someone who's a great of the game, and it is not. So you have to look at it in the way that if Smith was scoring well, watching the ball well, and then scoring well, then you would say, okay, yes, great. You're sending up the order, he'll possibly do the tougher job better. But that wasn't the case. He was struggling for big runs, consistent runs, as you would expect of him, and then he's moved up. And when you're going up the order, every bit of shuffle or delay in your reflexes shows up against the new ball. Now it's going to only be highlighted even more because New Zealand series. And then if India are watching him shuffling and getting out LBW, now that was possibly the first plan that everybody wants to do. Okay, hit the pads. And if you're able to do that, so why would any opposition team complain? So I felt it was a higher risk, or I don't know what to find the right word, that Cam Green has come good. No doubt about it. And maybe there was no other space. But is it worth losing Steve Smith for it? That's a question that Australia has to answer. I'm sure Anand Suresh has a very strong point there. But Harris out, okay? I have given up already. Don't worry.
Worth losing Steve Smith ka to pata nahi bhai. Grace Harris.
I mean, it's, how they got out. Healy trying to hit caught at mid-off. Chamari Atupattu wanting to hit caught in mid-off, running back. And Navgire caught at mid-off. So Harris like, let me go at some other place, square, mid-wicket.
Yeah, even Abbas saying 4th wicket. I'm guessing he's also pumped indeed.
No, but Abbas is an MI fan. He dislikes RCB. I'm not sure. Thank you so much, Vishal. Abbas, so why are you supporting Gujarat here? Like, you don't want RCB to make it, right?
Because he doesn't want UP to come through, because he feels that MI can potentially lose against UP, but not against RCB. So I'm guessing he's looking from that regard. I might be wrong, but appreciate all your questions in the 12th man segment. Last couple of ones indeed, and it comes from AJ Ragnarok. AJ, first of all, can you tell me who Arfan and Sai are? I will definitely get them on if I can find.
I've already spoken to Arfan. Yeah. Both of them are popular, are very, very, very popular Twitter fans, fans of RCB on Twitter. They're basically like us. In fact, they themselves have actually said this when they saw that Pat Cummins video that of the two of us. They're like, yeah, what we had to say in words, these guys have just shown it in front of the camera. So hardcore fans would love to have them, 100% AJ Ragnarok. we've tried speaking to Irfan, but yeah, both of them have busy schedules, so it'll be difficult. We'll definitely try our best though.
Okay, another one pertaining to the RCB, I mean IPL boys. Are the IPL groups made yet? Do we have any confirmation on that?
Groups of course are made because उसी के basis पे तो schedule किया है, but बोला नहीं है भाई, which is the most bizarre thing. How can they not inform कि boss groups क्या है? पता नहीं, कर दिया बस.
He has another FAQ, Akshay, really quickly. Mega auction next year is confirmed. So are they going to add new teams? By the way, what do you guys prefer? Long IPL season, 2 IPL seasons in a year?
2 IPL seasons would be great, but I don't think we have time. So I'm fine with 1 long IPL season as well. Sure. And new teams 2028 mein aa rahe. That's at least that was their plan. 2022 mein 2 teams, 2028 mein 2 teams, and 2032 mein 2 more teams. Make it a 12-team tournament by 2032. At least that's what they proposed when LSG and GT had come on board.
And I think that's like a 96 game season, if I might.
Starting next year, it'll be home and away against everyone. So each side will play 18 games. So it's going to be a proper 3.5 month tournament. So it's, yeah, I wanted to become bigger. I wanted to become like the EPL or the Bundesliga or the La Liga. Karo bhai, khelo IPL. Maze karte hain bas.
It's tribalism indeed. And Tushar, thank you so much for this lovely comment. He did get his gift with UP capitulating right now. And 96 watch-alongs, we'll pick and choose. We'll have to cherry pick, Greg. Like we're doing for IPL 2024 as well. Even this time around, we're going to be doing all the really, really good ones. I know there'll be some that you guys will be like, how are you guys not doing this one? We'll try to accommodate as many as we can indeed. But look, thank you guys so much. It's almost in the stroke of these 90 minutes that the MNL podcast has lasted. Yet a fantastic show. If you guys are just joining us, please like this video because so much we've discussed. We, of course, saw the last of Gurkirat for all you lovely Gurkirat fans out there, and lots more that you guys must have missed if you've just joined cricket.com. My name's Abdi Shaikde. I'm out of here. Akshay, we'll see you soon. And Nikhil, thank you so much for your time as ever. Go check out Nikhil's fantasy previews, which are an everyday thing at 3 p.m. He gives you some really, really top tips. And it's high time you do that because cricket.com and the app, you can actually make money. Literally make money by winning big. So go check it out, give it a download, and we'll see you guys next week, or the rest of the content will serve itself. There's some 2 more special videos coming out later this week. One is who will win the T20 World Cup. We've done fan cams with that. And the second one is about the WPL fan cams, and that is just some absolute fun, random shit. So go check it out. I'm out of here, and enjoy the rest of the week, you lovely, lovely people. Time to say goodbye. Cheers.
Cheers.